Ronald Lewis next up here. He has a Seahawks question. Which Seattle player gets an extension next? A lot of free agents after this following season. But I think the player you guys probably care about the most and want to know what's going to happen long term is Jamal Adams. What's going to happen with Jamal Adams? Obviously, Seattle paid 2 first-round picks to get him over from the New York Jets this past offseason, and you could argue if Seattle or the Jets won that trade, maybe it's the Jets so far, but if you traded that much capital for him, I think you got to work on an extension. I think getting him locked up long-term makes a whole lot of sense. Very productive player. Hopefully he improves in coverage, but this is a critical part of your defense moving forward. I think he's a player to keep an eye on for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, predict the future for us. Where will Jamal Adams play after this year? He's a free agent after 2021. Type S if you think it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks, or you can type O if you think it's going to be a different team, aka other. Let me know what you guys think. I think it'll be Seattle, but go ahead and get your votes in. Mike Nixon here, hashtag NFL. Which team will land Richard Sherman? This is the question everybody wants to know, so we'll talk about it yet again here on NFL Daily. Now, I think there's several teams that would show interest, and obviously Sherm last year, a little bit banged up, only played in 6-7 games this past season, still had an interception. He was great in 2019 when the 49ers went to the Super Bowl. I still think he has something left in the tank, but injuries have started to creep up on Richard Sherman in recent years. I put these 5 teams down because A, he's either been linked to these teams, or B, he said, I want to play with a contender and compete for Super Bowls for 2 or 3 more years. That second bullet point applies to the Chiefs. I think it applies to the 49ers and Seahawks. Obviously, he's been linked to those teams as well. He's been linked to the Jets. Robert Saleh, the 49ers defensive coordinator, is now the head coach in New York. And then it appears he's shown some interest in the Raiders as well, who could certainly beef up that secondary. There's other teams that could be in the mix there, but I think these 5 teams really stand out to me. So speak your mind. Which team will sign Richard Sherman this offseason? The draft is over. He said once it's over, he will start taking free agency seriously and sign with a team. Hasn't yet, not by the time we film this, but let us know what you guys think. Which NFL team will sign Richard Sherman?
From Doom, think Le'Veon Bell would ever go to Seattle? Another super chat. Thank you, my friend. I think Lev Bell's going to go anywhere he can play. I look at what they have on their depth chart right now with Chris Carson and Rashad Penny and DJ Dallas and Travis Homer and Alex Collins and 300 guys, and I go, they don't need a running back. So if Seattle wants to add somebody, sure, go explore Lev Bell. He can be a third down back for you. And yes, I think Lev Bell would be like, I'll play wherever, because at this point, his career is very much on the back end. Chat Sports is now available on the News Break app. Download it today at chatsports.com/newsbreak. Link right there, bottom of your screen. It's not just Chat Sports videos, mind you. There's tons of local news and weather and political updates as well, because if you're like me, you don't have the paper delivered anymore because it's 2021. Who reads the paper? Nobody. It's all done on your phone instead. So if you haven't already, use our link to download the app. That way you'll be in the know with what's going on in your community. Fantastic local updates, the news you need to know, all available on your mobile device. Whether you're in Dallas, whether you're in Vegas, or wherever, they got you covered. So download the app today at chatsports.com/newsbreak. It's right there at the bottom of your screen, and we'll put it in both the comment section and in the description. From Matthew Collins, why hasn't KJ Wright re-signed yet? It's a great question. I think in the end it comes down to money. That's where I think we're at. I think that Wright is looking for a bigger opportunity, both money and playing time-wise, than what Seattle's offered him so far. If KJ Wright comes back to Seattle, there is a very real possibility that he's the number 3 linebacker. Bobby Wagner's, of course, the number 1 guy there. Jordan Brooks is probably going to be the number 2, at least in the long term, so they want to give him more opportunities. So if the price and roll is right, I think KJ Wright returns to Seattle. Given the lack of interest so far in the open market, I think that is a possibility. Get your votes in for me. Should Seattle re-sign KJ Wright? Type Y for yes, they should, or type N for no, they should not. From Nate Padilla, will the Seahawks have a chance for Sherman or for Steven Nelson? They have a chance, they do, but they got a lot of bodies in that cornerback room already. Between Trey Brown, their 4th-round rookie, between, they kept DJ Reed, they kept Witherspoon, Demarius Randall, Ugo Amadi, Marquise Blair, and Trey Flowers, if I didn't mention him. They've got options, and Pierre Desir. So I think because they signed Desir, unless there's an injury, Seattle will not add a veteran corner. I wouldn't mind being wrong because I think they could still use some help, but it's a numbers game. There's too many guys on that team already. For Hyper 3 channel friend, once again here, who do you think is the Seahawks' number 1 option at receiver, Metcalf or Lockett? I think Metcalf is now this team's number 1 guy. Lockett is still awesome. It is truly a 1A, 1B type of scenario here, but I go with DK Metcalf. That's who I think is the best and most dangerous receiver on that Seahawks team, and that's not said at Lockett. I just think that highly of DK Metcalf. All right, it appears that attendance this year will be a little bit more full at NFL games this season. So are you going to go to an NFL game this year? Get your votes in. Type G for you're going to go, or type S for you're going to stay at home. Get your votes in right now. G for going, S for staying at home. From Chase Myers, what prospect for the NFL draft next year are you most looking forward to seeing in the college football season? So I'm going to go quarterback because, well, it's a quarterback. The guy that I'm most intrigued by is Sam Howell out of North Carolina because I think there's some talent there, but he is going to lose his top 2 receivers and his top 2 backs. If he plays great again, with that much talent loss, he might be the number 1 overall pick in 2021. From Gary Sanderson, which late-round rookies could benefit from the preseason? I mean, in general, the answer is all of them. Like, those late-round guys last year did not get an opportunity to really emerge as options. I'll throw out some of my favorite late-round picks. I was a big fan of Deontay Brown of the Panthers. I think, what is his name? I just lost it. Elijah Mitchell to San Francisco. Really intrigued by that one. Cornell Powell in Kansas City. I think those skill guys, if they can make some splash plays in the preseason, are going to benefit quite a bit. Tiny Uzi Vert. Okay, toilet bowl teams in each division next. All right, let me get the list up here so I don't say something stupid. I'm going to go with the Bengals in the AFC North, just because I think they're going to be the worst team in that division. The Lions in the NFC North. Give me the Cardinals in the NFC West. The Falcons. Oh, the NFC South is a tough one. I'll go Falcons, but I don't love that one there. Eagles in the NFC East. Texans in the AFC South. The Jets in the AFC East. And then I guess the Denver Broncos, unless they get Aaron Rodgers in the AFC West. Chiefs KC, how much longer will we have to see Tom Brady? Forever. He's going to clone himself and also become a robot and never retire. In a not flippant answer, I'd say like 2 more years, over under somewhere in there. Like, he just keeps defying logic. So I can't bet against Brady anymore. I've learned my lesson, so I say. From Mark Soder, just curious, other than Chris Jones, the punter, who are your top 5 GOATs out of the NFL? Great question. I would have said Tebow, but he's back. I think you have to include some good bad players. Who's the Bills got to quit in the middle of the game? That wasn't Cromartie. Vontae Davis, definitely up there. I think you can throw Kaepernick in there. Oh, God, trying to just pick. I was going to say Chad, but he's actually still in the NFL somehow. Gus Frerotte from when he headbutted and gave himself a concussion. What you got there, Jeremy? Yeah, Janikowski, sure, we can throw in a kicker there. Roberto Aguayo. There we go. That's good in there. So, Mark, I appreciate that super chat.